Alright folks, it's been a while. So yeah, I've been away at work for the last 4 months, so that's why there's not been much coming out of me. Anyway, back at the workshop and finally back to the Hyper. Going to get, over the next day or two, I'm going to get the last things done to it that I've been planning to get done for a while, but I've not got around to it, so get a couple of videos. So today is, well, one, if you notice, I've got the stock exhaust back on it. That was because last time home I had to go for its annual inspection and it failed because they said the Termi was too loud. So I put the stalker back on, I went and they said that was still too loud, but I was like, well, what can I do? That is the standard exhaust that it comes with out of the showroom, so they passed it with the stock on. So I'll be putting the Termi back on. Other than that, today is going to be, I have, which I've mentioned in previous video, is a Rapidbike. So it's the Rapidbike tuner. Rapidbike tuner and all the cabling. It's quite a lot of cabling that goes with it. But in order to fit that, I've also got the MWR air filter kit. So that's the filter. You can't really see it until I open it. I'm not going to open it until I need it because it's pre-oiled. Same, there's the filter pre-oiled. I'll open them when I need them to save them getting all dusty in here. Yeah, this is the one you cut a hole in the airbox. So this one replaces the stock air filter in the airbox, and this one you cut the hole in the top of the airbox and put that one in. I think they call it the power up kit. Power up kit for anyone that's interested, for the 821939. So obviously to fit all this, I'm going to have to strip the bike down again, which means all the plastics off, well, not all of them, the side covers, the tank cover, seat, and then the fuel tank. Fuel tank will have to come out. I think you can do the Rapidbike, I think, without taking the fuel tank off. But obviously to get to the airbox I need the fuel tank off anyway, and I think taking the fuel tank off, it'll just be better for cable management, you know, just to get the cable in tidier. I've also got, so while the tank is off, I've not got it here, I've left it at home, but I'm not going to get it done today anyway, but it'll be tomorrow or next day. The gear indicator that I mentioned in a previous video is to be done. So while the fuel tank's out, I'll get that done, and I'm also going to fit a USB charger, just so I've got a USB charger and run it up to here somewhere, just so I've got somewhere to plug in my phone and a camera just to charge when I'm out and about and I've got either the phone on or the camera going. I hope you can hear me. I've got the wireless mic set up so I can explain things as I'm going. Right, so that's it. I'm away to start pulling this to bits. I'll get you set up on probably a time lapse. I'm not going to go through pulling it all to bits with you. I've done it before. Just look back on previous videos if you want to see how to take the side covers and tank and that off. It's simple enough. Okay, right, speak to you when it comes to fitting of the Rapidbike and running the cabling. Speak to you in a bit. Ta-ra. Right folks, that's the bike in bits. Probably took me about, what, an hour, maybe an hour-ish, to get everything done. A few stubborn screws as usual, but got there. Right, so next is the wiring harness. So I've got the module itself. Now, according to the manual, you're meant to put it there. But no, because when it's there, you can see it sticks out. So I did have a wee mess around before I took the tank and the seat and that, and it will fit, it'll fit on top of the ECU and the seat will still close. The only thing is you need to remove the Ducati toolkit, which is pretty useless anyway. Right, anyway, so that'll go there. Then you've got the wiring harness, which is all this. So all these plugs here, the bulk of these plugs, apart from this one. So this one is for rear O2 sensor, which is there, so that's simple enough. These are all add-ons. One's for the USB connection to computer, others are for, one's for quick shifter, and the other I think is for a map switch. You can have a map switch so you can swap maps. Right, so you've got injector 1, which will go there. That's injector 1, injector 2, sorry, injector. So 2 is all like the rear cylinder, the vertical cylinder. 1 is the forward horizontal cylinder. So yeah, so O2 sensor 2, which is that one, rear cylinder. Injector 2, which goes there for the front cylinder. This is a negative earth line. And you've also got, there's another little cable somewhere. Where is it? Where's it gone? It's in one of these. That is 12 volt supply. So that 12 volt supply goes down. I need to somehow get down into here. It actually takes a 12 volt off the brake switch for some reason, which is down in under there. That could be a bit of a pain getting in there, but that's that one. And then you've got front injector, which is down in here. I'll run it probably down the other side. That's the front injector there. I might need to loosen the radiator, just drop the radiator forward a bit if I can without taking it off. Hopefully I've got enough play to just be able to drop it forward a bit, get them into there. Crank position sensor, I'm not sure exactly where that is. Must be down here somewhere. I'll need to have a nosy, see where the crank position sensor is. It's going to be in there somewhere, isn't it? That'll be it there, that'll be it right there, that'll be crank position sensor there, so I just need to find where the plug for that is. That could be fun. That could be fun if it's buried away in there. I was hoping I don't have to take the airbox off, but maybe I'm going to have to, we'll see. Yeah, and then that leaves, where does it leave? So yeah, front injector, crank position sensor, rear injector, brake switch. Yeah, that little cable, you've got to pop the cover off the ECU plug, and then you just do, there's like a wee posy tap comes with it, you put into there. Then front O2, rear O2. Again, front O2 is, where's front O2 again? I did see that. Front O2 is, where did I see it? There's the front O2 sensor cable. Yeah, that's it there, that's front O2 there. So that's easy enough. So front O2 sensor is easy enough to get to. Injectors should be easy enough to get to. Rear brake switch and crank position sensor might be a pain in the butt. Where is the crank position sensor plug? Where is that? I might need to have a look at the manual. It's probably, could be, no, that's a ABS module. That could be it there. That might be it there. That might be it there, actually, that one. That runs, yeah, I think that's it there. Okay, so that should be alright. So probably just the brake sensor is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, but maybe from underneath, oh, well, I forget, that's the wee spacer that sits under the fuel tank, between the fuel tank and the mount. Put that there before I lose it. Right, so I'm probably going to start at the front with the longest cables, get them fed down. So I get this, I'll loosen off that radiator, drop it forward, get the front injector and the crank position sensor done, run them up probably with a loom here if I can, and then kind of tie them in as I'm going, try and keep it tidy, try and keep it as tidy as possible, and then yeah, last thing will be mounting the, well, yeah, the last thing will be mounting the box itself, but I'll probably get all the cables run and then tank back in before I mount the actual box itself. Right, so, oh, it's warm in here. It's meant to be coming into cool season here, but it's not quite kicked in yet. It's still about 30 odd, 32, 33 degrees. That was when I left the house earlier. Probably more than that now. Anyway, right, I'm going to run these cables and I'll get back to you. I'm not going to, because it might take long enough to get all these cables run nice and neat, but I'll come back to you when they're all run. I mean, it's simple enough. You know, where everything goes is quite straightforward. It's all just piggybacks into everything. other than that wee posy tap for the ECU, which I'll show you when I've done it. It's just a bit time consuming, going to be time consuming to get into all the plugs and run all the cables. So I'll come back to you when that's all done, hopefully, and show you how I've ran them at least. Maybe give you an idea if anybody else is planning on doing this to their own Hyper. And then after that it's the MWR filter. So that again should be straightforward enough with a bit of luck. Anyway, speak to you soon. See ya. Bye. Right folks, done running the wires for now. So I'll give you a quick look for the Rapidbike EVO, that is. So that's the unit itself, so that's going to sit roughly about there once the tank and everything's back in. I've got the ECU is loose just now, and you see I've disconnected it. Right, so I've disconnected it, so it's the orange and blue wire. This, where's it gone, where's it gone, where's it gone? This wire here, you get a little posy tap with it and it taps into there, then you put that cover should fit back on with it. But I'm not going to do that wire or the main plug until I get the tank back in, because I think once I get the tank back in it'll be better to tidy up the wires. So anyway, so that's the main plug that goes to the Rapidbike. That's all the spare plugs for it. That's, you know, you've got, like I said earlier, you've got ones that are for a quick shifter, which I don't need because I'm using the Heeltech one. Now you do get a Rapidbike quick shifter on the 821 and it plugs in and works through this. I think there's a few other plugs go in. On the 821, the Rapidbike one is exactly, it's the same, it only does upshift, it doesn't do downshift. I think on the 939 it does downshift with blipper, but not on the 821. I did ask that question because I was going to get that one with the Rapidbike if it done downshift and blipper, but it didn't, so I'll just stick with the Heeltech one I've got. Anyway, I digress. Right, so that is rear O2 sensor, so everything's just piggybacked into the main loom. Rear O2 sensor, and you follow it round, right, and you've got front rear injector, so I need to tidy all these up, and then it follows round here, so you've got one round here and this one coming off down here. So this one coming off down here goes down, round, and then plugs into the crank sensor, which is there and there, piggybacks into the crank sensor. This one, right, goes down, round. I just disconnected the radiator just to give me a little bit of play. I'll show you from the other side, it's probably easier. So that plugs in, piggybacks into the front injector here and the crank position sensor, which is here. All the cables should be, I've not tie wrapped any of the cables yet, I will do though. And then that just leaves the rear brake. Now that was a pain in the arse to get to, because for some reason on mine it was way down, stuck underneath, so I had to try and feed it back up, which is here. I don't know if I'd maybe, when I'd done the case, if I'd pushed it down there and not realised. But anyway, I managed to feed it back up. So that's the rear brake. There, one of them just piggybacks in. So again, I'll get this all tie wrap that all up in there and keep it all tidy. Get it all tidy, hopefully. But yeah, so next is, so like I say, I'm not going to be able to finish this till I get the tank back on. Because I want to just make sure this is all tidy when the tank's on. I don't want to try tidying it all up and then have to take it all off again when I go to put the tank on, because I can't get the tank on or something like that. So I'll tidy up all this side, all under there, get that all tie wrapped up, and then I'll come back to you when the tank's back on. That's going to be after the next video. I'm going to do another video putting the air filter and that in. That'll be a separate video, standalone for that. So I'm away to do that now, which will be a separate video for you, and then I'll come back once the tank is back in and I've tidied up all the wiring. There's only one, that was a pain in the arse. The only one thing that I'm a bit weary of is in the manual, right, so you get this extra cable, right? Now it's for the brake light. Now it's because it says on some models the polarity is reversed, i.e. positive negatives the other opposite way around from what it needs to be. So they give you this cable, but it doesn't say how you know. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't say which models. It doesn't say, well, how do you know if yours is one of the models that the polarity is reversed? And if it is it going to fucking do any damage if you plug it in like that? There's no way of telling. Because it doesn't tell you on the cables here. It doesn't tell you on these cables. It doesn't say which is what's positive, what's negative. I'm assuming red positive, blue negative, I would assume. So I suppose I could whip that off and stick the multimeter in and see if I get a positive, stick the ignition on, see if I get a positive out of one of them. Yeah, I think I'll maybe do that, but then it's brake light switch. Anyway, right, aye, so that's what I think I'll do. I'll check that, I'll get the multimeter out, stick it on and see which one I get positive from, and hopefully. Anyway, I'll get back to you when the tank's back on and I'm finishing up. I've just downloaded, oh, hold on, that's my emails, no, where is it? I did download the software for it, but Rapidbike Master. So yeah, so you get, it's free software. I've just finished downloading it. I've already accepted all this, but then it done an update as soon as I downloaded it. Yeah, so obviously it just popped up saying nothing connected. So also in the box you get basically this, which goes from one of the plugs on the box itself to a USB, and then plug that into the computer. Open this and you can play around with it. Now it has got an auto tuning function on it, so that's what I'm going for. I'm no tuner. I don't know where to start when it comes to actual tuning on software, so I'm just getting it for the auto tuning function. I've heard mixed reports. A lot of people say really good, especially when combined with the MWR air filter and power up kit, as they call it. But only time will tell, I suppose. Right, anyway, let's say I'll come back to you when the tank is back on. Later. Hello folks, welcome back. It's another day back on the Rapidbike EVO. What have I been doing? You've not seen the videos yet, but I've done the MWR filter kit. I've done the Heltec gear indicator and the USB power socket. I wanted to get them done before I put the tank back on. So now it's I'll just run you through. That is just covering the MWR filter because it's quite dusty in here, so just save some of the dust. Right, anyway, so this is all the leads for the Rapidbike. Right, so these are, I think I mentioned already, a couple of these are for the quick shifter, one's for a map switch. If you want, you can buy that separate, and one is for the USB lead to the computer. Now, what does come in the kit is blanking plugs for all these, so they'll be getting put on. But I think I mentioned already that I wanted to get the tank back on because it's going to sit here. So a quick run through the cables now that they're all tidied up. So that's the main loom. That is O2 sensor piggybacked in for the rear O2 sensor down there. That is the injector plugged in for the vertical cylinder there. The rest of it runs down here. You've got the where am I? You've got, where am I? It's hard to see, it's tucked up in there, that's O2 sensor for the front cylinder. You've got in there, again it'll be hard for you to see, but in there you've got the injector, front injector. I took this off and brought it forward a bit, it just made it easier. You've got, what else have you got? You've got the crank position sensor, which is again here. This is them here. Crank position sensor, front cylinder injector, crank position sensor there. The cable's all tucked up. You've got the earth, which is this one running here, which is, according to the instructions, is to connect it to this point here. According to Rapidbike, you connect it to that point there. So that's the earth runs back into this loom, and then you've got the rear brake light switch, which is there. Right, so that's piggybacked in. Now I did mention on the last one that you get this adapter plug. Like if your polarity is different, they mentioned on some bikes if the polarity is different. I'm saying, well, how do you know? actually had to think about it. Obviously it's the rear brake light switch, so it's only got a positive in it. It's got a positive going to it, and then when you activate the brake, it completes the connection back to the brake light. So if it is the wrong way, it won't matter, it just means it won't work. Unless, it'll work when you put your foot on the brake, because that'll make the connection, but it won't work normally. So I'll find that out once I get everything back together, plug it into the computer, turn the bike on, see if it's communicating, and if it's working. If it's not, I'll stick the adapter in. So yeah, so that just leaves, where is that cable? This one, which again I mentioned, will get a posi tap into that cable there on the ECU, and then I put the cover back on. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the tank back on. I'll get the tank back on and connected up, and then I'll get the Rapidbike fitted, the ECU plug in, and I'll bring these back when I come to do that. But I'm not going to film putting the tank on. You've seen it before. Straightforward enough. So I'll bring these back in 10-15 minutes once I've got the tank on and connected back up, and I'm going to put the Rapidbike in its final position, hopefully. Yeah, right, speak to you in a bit. See ya. Right folks, for some reason the sound didn't work on this clip. It was just me explaining about the tap into the ECU with the posi tap. So you tap into the orange and blue wire, which is 5th connection from the right hand side. Simple enough. I was just explaining that you take this cover off, which wire it was, and that you should have enough room in there to get basically the posi tap on, and then the cover back on, and then plug it back in. It's all explained in the manual that you get with it. It's simple enough. So yeah, unfortunately, let's say the audio for some reason didn't work, so just a quick voiceover, and I'll leave it at that. Right folks, so that's you can see the posi tap's fitted, and this is going to be like the final position for the Rapidbike tuner. Just be careful, as I was saying, the main rubber strap that holds the bike ECU in, I managed to snap mine. I think it had a little nick in it, and then when I pulled it, it just snapped. So I'll have to do some kind of repair on that. But so just a word of caution to be careful when you're messing about with it, you don't break the straps. And that's the Rapidbike tuner in its final place, plugged in. All I've got to do is put the cover back on to the ECU, and then ready to go. Right folks, I'm back. I lost power. There was a power cut in the village, the joys of rural Thailand. So what I've done, obviously my computer needs power because it's old and the batteries had it. So the computer needs power to work. Mains power, that is. So in the meantime, what I've done is, obviously I did mention before, I had the stock exhaust on it for the inspection. I don't know, I'll try zoom in a bit, I don't know if you'll see, but what I've done, I've disconnected the exhaust. So you've got the flapper valve there. So it just runs on a cable basically. There's a little cover, this little cover, 2 bolts, holds the cover on, runs on a cable. I've disconnected the cable, so, because I want that. You can take it out, but there's 2 little screws on the flap itself, but they're like tacked on. So I could get in there with a Dremel off the tack, I suppose, but just disconnect the cable. It should be all right, just hanging there. It doesn't move enough to catch on anything. So this is the cover. I'll put the cover back on, and it should be fine. And that's it. Just the flapper valve disconnected, and then I'll get the Thermi back on. Because I'd rather, before I start the bike, I want everything kind of as it'll be, if you like, when I'm going to run it. So I don't want to fire the bike up with the stock exhaust and the flapper valve still working. Not that it'll matter too much. I'll show you in the tuner, in the software. So it's got, because obviously the software for the tuner has got auto adaptability. That's like an auto tune feature. So I'll get this on, I'll get the Thermi exhaust slip on back on, and then I'll come back to you when I'm away to fire up the bike, and I'll show you the software for the Rapidbike EVO. Right folks, that's the Termi titanium slip-on back on, and the exhaust flapper down in there disconnected. So the reason for disconnecting, so I'm just firing up the Rapidbike software now, hopefully. Is it firing up? Yeah. There we go. So yeah, so basically the reason for disconnecting the cable is if you don't disconnect the cable, then you can disconnect it from the ECU, but you'll get a check engine light, or you can get a little plug, a little eliminator, exhaust valve eliminator thing, that box that plugs in, but that's like 50, 60 quid. So I've just disconnected the cable, it does the same thing. Right, so you now should be seeing the Rapidbike software. Now, if you look down the bottom, hold on, I'll just switch here. If you look down the bottom, you've got 4.6 volts, so that means it's communicating with the computer, so because it's just seeing USB voltage. So if I turn on the ignition, that should change to, yeah, so that changes to 12 volts, so I'm now getting bike voltage, so I've got it speaking, so hopefully that then means that that cable that I was on about, the one for down in there, the one that connects for if you've got the wrong polarity, that means hopefully I don't need that. Seems to be working. So if I go to auto adaptivity, so this is what I want, right? So if you look up here, you want, from what I understand, you want this, my tuning bike, you want that unchecked, and then when you scroll down, you want the RBO2 there active, checked. That means the auto tuning is on and everything is talking. So let me just see if the bike will fire. It's not been fired in a while, it might get a bit loud, so bear with me. Bear with me, bear with me. And I'm low on fuel, probably should have got some. Right, I hope you can hear me because I'm right next to the exhaust. So if I go back to maps, so yeah, so it's reading everything. So I don't understand much of this, I'm not a tuner. But it's reading the bike, it's reading the sensors, and straight away I'll tell you that the idle is a lot better than it was before. There seems to be a lot steadier idle than it was previously. So hopefully that's got to be a good thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish buttoning it up. I'll get the tank fitted properly, I'll get all the plastics back on, I'll get the cover back on the ECU, the Rapidbike fitted, and then that's it. That's it. They do recommend that you do about 200 miles, do 200 miles, plug it back in, and then it'll adjusted. There'll be a new like base map that I've made a base map after 200, so you accept that or accept that base map, and then it then uses that as the base map and adjusts from there, from that base map after that 200 miles. So obviously I've got to do some miles on it first, but for now I'm going to get the bike back together, and yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this. That is basically the MWR filter, the Rapidbike EVO install done. It's time consuming, it's not hard, it's just time consuming because you've got to strip all the bike to bits, you've got quite a lot of cables to run, but it's actually an easy, it's simple enough job, just like you say, time consuming. So I'll get the bike back together, And that's it, done. Stay tuned. Right folks, back just to do a sign off on the Rapidbike EVO install. So that's it, done. The bike, as you can see, is all back together. Everything, all the plastics back on. The seat. So the seat fits with it, but it's pushing down on the, you see the gap? It seems to be alright when you sit on it. I'll give it a check. What I might need to do is possibly heat up, get some heat on the underside of the plastic of the seat and just push it up, because it's there. So I'm not worried about comfort for the back, because I never have anybody on the back of this bike. So anyway, that's it. Stay tuned, like I said before, stay tuned. I'm going to obviously take this out for a run. Like I say, it needs 200 miles, plug it back in, accept the base map after 200, and then I'll work off of that. Coming up, I have the filter install and also the gear indicator and USB install. They'll be coming after this video. So for now, I'll sign off. I'll say thanks for watching. Hopefully it helped you. If you've any questions, feel free to ask. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if it's helpful, and a sub would be nice. I'll stick a link above for all the rest. Pretty much everything I've done to the Hyper so far, I've done a video for. Some better than others, but it's all there. Right, I'm going to sign off, and stay tuned for the next parts. Thanks for watching, people. See you the next time. Bye bye.